All right. Welcome to the Outdoor Drive podcast. This is your boy, East Coast Trev, and
This is the incredible Steve.
the incredible Steve. What's up, Steve?
I
How
just
are you,
had,
buddy?
I had to give you one. Had to give
I'm
you
glad.
one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. About time. It only took you a year.
Yeah, literally a year this week.
Well,
Congratulations, buddy.
Yep. Thank you. Congratulations to you too, man.
Been a fun year.
It's been a fun drive, man. I've had a lot of fun, man. Thank you.
There's been a lot of love and a lot of damn it. I wish we were still back at Pennsylvania this weekend.
Oh, me too, man. There was a lot of that in my life. Like, why aren't we not at Harrisburg?
I know it sucks, but it's all right. This is like the year to reset and be like, oh, okay, my liver, my gut, it's all going to recoup for next year.
I guess so. I guess I agree with you there. And in this podcast, we talk a lot about that, missing out on SHOT Show and ATA and kind of that stuff too. Courtney kind of goes through all that. So this week we have Courtney Courtney with freckles. She is from, she's from the Outdoor Channel or the Outdoor
Sportsman Group.
Yep. So she's going to join us this week, and we're going to kind of go through everything on, how she lives her life fully outdoors. Courtney's a very interesting person. I had the chance of hunting with her on Ducks on the Bay with Danny the Duck Man. We go through a little bit on that. So we got to hunt together.
I couldn't let you guys go that whole time and not bring that up.
Oh, absolutely. I meant to, and I totally forgot, honestly. We forgot to even mention who we were hunting with, but we were hunting with Danny from Ducks on the Bay. So if you guys haven't checked him out, make sure you go and do that on Instagram. Danny, Ducks on the Bay on Instagram, or ducksonthebay.com if you want to book a hunt with him. So man, what have you been up to, man? What's going on?
Same old, trying to capitalize on all the snow that's coming down. Finally got out, did a little bit of predator hunting this weekend. Was a little slow. We did an afternoon hunt, but right now, you're in the peak of the breeding season out here. So you never know what's going to happen. We hit 4 sets before dark and really wasn't happening. Had one off in the distance, but didn't come in. Saw a lot of deer still carrying antlers. That was heartbreaking, more so than not having dogs come in. But, it was good to just get out, go hike the mountains, start getting back in shape before shed season, reminding myself how out of shape I am before turkey season. The usual.
Did you find any turkeys?
Shit ton of sign. And it's a spot that we've taken quite a few birds out of there. We used to reserve this area strictly for the vet hunts, just because it's a really good population. But this year they're booming.
Perfect.
They pulled a hen and a jake out during the fall out of this property. So there are plenty left in there. Hopefully it works out in the spring.
Perfect. That's good, man. So I've kind of been ice fishing every day.
You don't say.
All day. Well, we got all this damn snow, so it's been tough. We just got dumped with another 5 inches today, and there's more coming in the next couple of days. So we're going to have plenty of snow. It's been covering up sheds. Got out a little bit the other day, and it's just, there's too much snow on the ground. So
hey, upside is snow is a really good squirrel deterrent.
Yeah, and it'll be there during turkey season. So I'm not sure if I'll be doing more shed hunting or more turkey killing. So
exactly. I think it'll be pretty well balanced.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that and whatever else. Kind of messing around with gear and kind of getting everything kind of tuned in for snow goose season and turkey season. I get all kinds of cool chokes and fun turkey calls.
What'd you call it? The snow plow?
Oh, yeah, the snow plow.
That thing is badass.
Yeah, I went with the sorry, I got a pile.
It's like a white anodized choke.
So it's black clouds. This is the same as the Code Black, but it's in the Snow Goose edition. So it's got the white finish on it. So says it's effective up to 70 yards.
I really can't wait to test that. I almost want to see what that would do on a turkey load.
I'm saying, man.
That's just a cool ass looking choke. Problem is now you got to white out the rest of that freaking shotgun.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time. I'll repaint that thing white. No problem.
I got a buddy right up the road here that hydro dips.
Hmm.
Any pattern you want.
Perfect. Or I'll just do a YouTube video on spray painting your shotgun.
Of course, man. Then you end up with paint and oil and shit down the barrel, and yeah, good
Be
times.
Great. Yep.
I love watching do-it-yourselfers do oil dips. It
Yep.
never worked. It looks cool as shit till they go to shoot it.
I did that one time on some skulls, and it just never comes out right, and you can never reverse it. And that was kind of why I kind of gave up with it. Guys like, can you hydro dip? Can you? Yeah, I can try anything twice.
Right.
But it just never comes out right. And I don't want to mess up your skull. So I just stopped doing it because you can really mess it up. What if the person wanted different? They wanted mauve and you did it pink, you know?
Right.
And, shit. You know, it just didn't.
Ain't worth it. Give them the skull back and they can go pay someone who knows what they're doing.
Yep. I don't play around with that. So, yeah, man. Some fun things. We have a couple of cool giveaways coming for the turkey season. Speaking of, if you guys haven't gone over to nor'eastergamecalls.com, go over and check them out. All their game calls, especially for turkey season coming up. We have the Ridge Runner will soon to be for sale. We're going to have an outdoor drive series turkey pot call, which will go on sale very soon. And what else? Oh, the little cluckers, box calls. So turkey season, get filled up on that. nor'eastergamecalls.com for all of your outdoor call needs. Also on giveaways, timber tumblers. We have 2 tumblers. We're going to do a giveaway, so stay tuned to that. Make sure to go on and like our social media platforms so you can keep up with all the recent giveaways that we have going on. So you can also, if you just want to go and get one and you don't want to get it on the giveaway, I get it. I understand it. Go over to timbertumblers.com and you can get yourself a custom tumbler like I have or like Steve has. You can put any logo on it, or you can get the outdoor drive one with your name or whatever you like, however you like it. Get a custom one over there. Also, Wild Edge Inc., wildedgeinc.com. They're the leader in mobile hunting. They have your saddle, your battlement. They have the new saddle, which is the Berserker. If you guys haven't checked that out, you can check that over there. Your 8mm ropes, and the steps by Step Ladder, or the Step Ladder by Wild Edge. I just got that out. That was a tongue twister for a second. Also, you can go and check out outonthelimb.com. No, it's out on the limb MFG. I always forgot about that. .com. Go and check those guys out for all of your saddle hunting platforms, tree stands, camera arms. They have a little bit of everything over there. All kinds of custom metalwork at outonthelimbmfg.com. Wicked and Twisted Bowstrings. wickedtwistedbowstrings.com for your custom made custom strings. Any size, color, creed, you name it, you can order it over there on their website, and she will ship it to you. Or you can go up to Trader Jan's and get them put on the bow. Also, who else am I forgetting? I always do this. I have such a tough time with this. Well, because I'm doing it off my head. Broadside Camo. I did that on purpose. Broadside Camo, broadsidecamo.com. Steve is wearing a Broadside Camo hat. So they're the photorealism camouflage for the aerial hunter. They have a little bit of everything in camouflage. I mean, some of the best stuff for the saddle hunter, the innovative side of camo for the saddle hunter in his camouflage clothing. So go and check that out. Get yourself the Ascender series for your late season hunts, but also the Closer series. I get them two of them mixed up.
Yeah, Closer for your early season.
For your early season, for your turkey season, and your Omega also for a little bit later in turkey season. So, and they make that in the Versa Light, which is a reversible, and it has Omega on one side and the Closer on the other. So go and check them out, broadsidecamo.com. So, but keep up on all of our giveaways that we have going on. You can go and like our Facebook page, Outdoor Drive Podcast. On there, you can get a link to our new group. We have a little social media group on there. You guys get on there and kind of see what's going on. We have some fun stuff, local community people of the Outdoor Drive. Always putting up stuff, ice fishing trips and hunting trips, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that on there. So, and sometimes maybe a little bit of an exclusive stuff comes out on there a little bit earlier than they do on any of the other places. Also, our Instagram page, Outdoor Drive Podcast. We will also be giving aways on there as well. If you guys aren't ready, subscribe to this YouTube page, hit the notification side, and why not leave a comment, because that's always a good thing to do. And if you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review and a review there. So we would greatly appreciate it, because that's what gets the word out, so that everyone can kind of find out who we are. So we appreciate you.
Definitely.
I feel long-winded.
No, you did good. After a year of that, you're doing really well. You kind of got it spooled up like, all right, Trev, let it go. Pull the pin.
Well, the problem is this, right, Steven? So I get so into that normal thing I always say. I think I need to change it up a little bit, because everyone's heard this intro 1,000,001 times. You would think I just recorded the same exact one.
Yeah, we could always do that, but what's the fun in that? I think at this point they like hearing the stumbling and the changing it up and the forgetfulness and all. It just adds some versatility.
This is my problem with it, right, Steve? Is that I am so used to not thinking when I talk, which gets me in a lot of trouble. So when I have to think when I talk, I stumble for the words. Like, I know what to say, I just don't know how to say them.
No, I feel you. It's all good. You do a good job of it. Apparently, people think we do a good job of it because they're still listening. I'm not sure why, but
I'm sorry for them. Well, let's get on to bigger and better things.
You can do that, but first, I need you to crank that bad boy up.
Oh, yeah. See, get on to bigger and better things like Mike Salter, the news for your cruise. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Mike here with some news for your cruise. The theme lately has been bills, bills, bills all across the country. We're going to start off a little bit the same this week, this time in Utah with House Bill 295, which has been introduced and would ban big game baiting and regulate trail camera use in the state. The bill would ban placing food or nutrient substances for the purpose of taking or attempting to take big game. The game camera regulations would include prohibiting trail camera use from August 1st through December 31st and prohibiting cell camera use from July 1st through December 31st, or cameras at any time if placement, maintenance, or use of a trail camera or similar device prevents wildlife from accessing or alters the manner in which wildlife accesses a spring water source or artificial basin that collects water or is designed and constructed to collect water. Now, there are some exceptions to these, which would include if a person clearly marks each trail camera or similar device to indicate ownership, any person who places, maintains, or uses a camera or similar device with the Wildlife Division's approval, or a person who places, maintains, or uses a trail camera or similar device on private property with the landowner's permission. So anyone who would like to comment on the bill can email the bill sponsor, Casey Snyder, at csnyder, SNIDER, at le.utah.gov, and any members of Utah's Wildlife Board. Now on to Pennsylvania, where the Pennsylvania Game Commission is asking for your help. Wildlife biologists are looking for flocks of wild turkeys to trap, band, and release this year. So if you see any flocks of turkeys in northwestern PA, you can call the Northwest Region office at 814-432-3187. Now down to Virginia, and I'll have to thank Steven's better half for sending this one to me. So thank you, Kim. Pay attention, muskie anglers. Recently, DNR biologists were sampling the Shenandoah River for muskies, which they have been doing since 2009. This year, the biologists caught 2 of their largest muskies of their careers. They caught 2 fish over 50 inches, with the largest weighing 40 pounds. So there are some monsters to be had in the Shenandoah, and the DNR biologists are asking anglers to consider recording their catches in the new Muskie Angler Diary program. which will provide the biologists with data to better manage the muskie fishery in the Shenandoah and other areas of the state. So the program can be found on the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources webpage. Now, lastly, this is a call to all youth who enjoy the outdoors. Pheasants Forever is looking for stories from youth who hunt, fish, shoot, or just enjoy the outdoors in general to be included in their Forever Outdoors Youth Journal. They are looking for anyone under 18 to submit a 300 to 800 word story with high resolution photos. A few topic examples that they provided are stories about, like a favorite bird dog or a specific outdoor place that is special to you, your first harvest, deer, pheasant, or other game, family adventure or tradition in the outdoors, showing someone else the outdoors, or participating in outdoor activities outside of hunting and fishing. You can send submissions to Pheasants Forever editor Tom Carpenter at tcarpenter@pheasantsforever.org. You can attach a Word file or put the story right in the body of the email, and make sure to use Forever Outdoors Story in the email subject line. With that, I appreciate all the news coming in. Again, if you guys have anything, please feel free to send it to me. Reach out to me on Facebook at Mike Salter or bearded_bowhunter21 on Instagram. And with that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
See, now that we're on to bigger and better things, we can even go to bigger and better things, and way better things, actually, probably, than what we could ever.
All I want to say is, Mike, the old lady appreciates the shout out, because yes, we do have some really big fish in the Shenandoah. So she was excited to send that one over. And thanks for pointing that one out. But buddy, again, for like we were talking, I really appreciate all you do for the show. I think you're 37 episodes straight with news, and dude, we couldn't do it without you. So thanks.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And I know you have the little one coming soon, and congratulations to you on that also. But if you guys haven't, and going back on what Steven was saying, if you guys haven't already, if there is news that you want to hear about or share to everybody, send it over to Mike Salter. Get a hold of him on Instagram or on Facebook, and just get that information over to him so it can be on the news for your cruise. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, if you see something cool, just send him the link. He'll take it from there.
He's the man with that. He'll dissect it and get everything going where it needs to be.
So, what do you think, Trev? Now that we've long-winded ourselves through this first year, let's get someone a little more exciting, enticing, whatever you want to call it, more interesting on the air.
Let's do it.
All right, brother. Let's bring on Courtney.
Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Big buck. Stacked.
All right, welcome back. We are on the phone with Courtney. How are you, Courtney?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hello from Denver, Colorado.
I was just going to ask where you're calling in from. I know you did a ton of traveling this year and got to hunt all over. So
yeah, she's still got sunlight in the background.
Oh, I forget about that. I didn't even think about that, honestly.
Just a couple hours behind.
So, Courtney, why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Courtney Nicolson. I'm the social media manager at Outdoor Channel. And I live in Denver, Colorado now, but I'm originally from Massachusetts. So, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. I was going to say, you got electronic ghosts in the house.
I do. Yeah. So I grew up in Massachusetts and kind of lived all over and ended up here in Colorado with stops in New York City and Michigan and Wisconsin, and kind of have lived all over. So, yeah.
Kind of have that gypsy soul, huh?
East Coast roots, though. East Coast roots.
East Coast forever. I will always be a New Englander. So,
You
yeah.
must be excited with the Super Bowl and Tom Brady.
I'm always excited with Tom Brady.
There it is. Yeah, well, unfortunately, this time he proved him wrong.
Well, I kind of fell out of watching football for a little while. The first year that I moved here to Denver, the Broncos were playing the Patriots. So I was like, do I want everyone to hate me or not? I'm like, I'm just going to be very quiet and eat nachos.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you're in probably one of the only other places in the country where they take that team as serious as they do in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Denver fans are a whole different level.
So what kind of got you into the outdoor world, like hunting and fishing? Did you start when you were young, or?
I didn't actually. So I grew up doing a lot of fishing and clamming. My first job was actually at an oyster farm. We did a lot of camping, spent a ton of time in New Hampshire and Maine and kind of all over. I grew up right on the ocean. But no one in my family ever hunted. And I actually moved to New York City when I was 18 for college. And when I graduated, I started working in the TV industry. I worked on set for a couple different shows for a couple years. And then I was looking at different networks to work at and ended up at Sportsman Channel. So it was just kind of a fluke. I started working there and I had never hunted before. I think I'd shot a gun like 2 or 3 times. And I worked there for maybe a year and was like, this kind of looks like fun. I want to try it. So that's the story.
You just kind of just jumped into it.
Yeah, it was, so random. I think about the chances of me never becoming a hunter and they're extraordinarily high. But I went to my first SHOT Show in, I think 2012 and met one of our show hosts and he was like, what's your favorite thing to hunt? And I said, I don't hunt. He's like, what? And I was like, I always wanted to, but I didn't know anyone who hunted, like not one person. I was living in New York City. And he's like, well, I know a girl who's about your age. She lives in upstate New York. I'll give you her phone number. And so I called this girl out of the blue and it was, I don't know, March or April or something like that. And I was like, will you take me hunting? And she's like, have you taken hunter ed? And I said, no. She said, do you own a gun? And I said, no. She said, do you own any camo? And I said, no. She's like, well, go do those things and then call me in May. And so I did. I took hunter safety by myself in the Bronx at a substance treatment facility center.
Same difference. It's an addiction.
Same difference. Yeah. No, it was very unclear what you were signing in for when you walked in the door. So I don't know which addiction is worse or which addiction's cheaper. But yeah, so I took my hunter ed course. It was like a day and a half. It didn't have a range portion. I went to a gun shop. I bought the cheapest shotgun I could find in case I didn't like this whole hunting thing. Went to Cabela's, bought a pair of like camo blue jeans and a camo rain jacket and drove 5 hours up to the middle of nowhere and met some girl and we went turkey hunting.
Nice.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Little chilly hunt.
It was pretty hot. It was the last weekend of the season. It was like Memorial Day weekend. And so it was hot as heck. Birds weren't really, it was already past prime time. So, we called in a couple of hens, but didn't get any toms. So, yeah.
And that didn't turn you off to hunting because you didn't have that success like you see on TV?
Oh gosh, no, I thought it was just so cool that, we called in a hen and like she walked up and she was maybe 10 feet away from us and had no idea that we were there. And I saw 2 fawns like right at sunrise, like playing tag in this beautiful field. And it's like, I like this. This is really cool. So that
Nice.
fall, I went on my first duck hunt, and then I ended up getting my first turkey, and then kind of was hooked.
And that was the
Nice.
end of it.
And that was the end of it. Yeah, no, it was all downhill from there. So,
Nice.
Do you wish that you were in the other line when you went for your hunter ed than hunting at that point?
I mean, there's days when you're hunting for like 3 days straight where you're like, I don't know, this like Red Bull, I need something more. When I was living in Michigan, turkey season and prime bow fishing is at the same time. And so there were 3 days where I was going to work, getting off work, sleeping for like 2 hours, going bow fishing all night till maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, then going turkey hunting till like 9, and then going to work.
Ooh.
And did that for like 3 days, to the point where like, I'm not sure if it's safe for me to be driving.
Yeah,
Like
Red Bull's not cutting it at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, it's 2 in the morning and I don't even know which way's up. So, but
Nice.
I don't know how
Um,
some people do it. It's crazy. We have a bunch of buddies that they run bow fishing rigs, and then they go out hunting and the same thing, but they do it all season long. Like you're like a zombie at that point.
pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it's you never know what's coming up next, so that was May. Yeah, that was May 2 years ago. And I already knew I was relocating back to Colorado. And so I was like, we didn't really have much bow fishing here in Colorado. And so I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to do this again. And then last year I had scheduled a bow fishing turkey trip back to Michigan and had to cancel it because of COVID. So it's,
Right.
there are days where you're going to be super tired, but then there's days where there's absolutely nothing going on, and, you can catch up on sleep. So, yeah.
How
Nice.
did your season go with the whole COVID thing that kind of happened? You're still hunting a ton.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of difficult. I had a lot of trips canceled that were with like bigger groups and stuff. But I mean, I hunt by myself a lot, so a lot of my season didn't change. So, yeah, I ended up last season, I got my first elk, first mule deer buck, bunch of different ducks that I hadn't got yet, bunch of different quail I hadn't got yet. Yeah.
You're just kind
It
of
was pretty
marching through
good.
the order.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah, I
working
did
on
a
like
lot-
the slam, like a grand slam of
Oh,
all species?
no.
Yeah.
No. I would love to hunt in every single state. I think that's my bucket list. So, I think I'm up to 14 right now. So,
Nice.
Wow.
yeah, but yeah.
Different species in different states.
Just any species in any state. So, I just think it's really cool. I'm always excited about hunting new states and hunting new species, period. So that's usually my goal. Kind of once I get something, I like to focus on one thing every year. So last year I focused on getting a mule deer buck. This year I'm focusing on bears. So
Where's your trip planned for bears?
I'm going to be going to Montana and Idaho, and probably Wyoming too,
Nice.
and
Oh,
maybe
so-
Maine. I don't know. So
So you're doing it all.
Yeah.
That's like
yeah,
Knock 4 states out at once.
wow.
yeah,
And-
pretty much.
And I mean, you never know, especially that's like
That's Trev's bucket list right now.
is bears.
Like
yeah, that's
we've
that's
had
like
hell
on my
getting Trev a
radar.
bear.
It's on my radar. So, but
Nice.
with the like when you hunt Idaho and stuff, you're hunting like huge mountains and like that's a totally different beast than going to like Maine or something like this. Are you doing it with hounds, or are you just doing it from like stand or?
Well, I mean, most of it is just, over bait and stuff. And so we'll set up blinds, but, yeah, it's all like public land baiting. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's
That's
interesting.
kind of cool. So were you supposed to go on the hunts last year, but they got canceled for this year, or
Yeah.
they were booked for,
Yeah. So last year I have one of my best friends who I teach hunter education with. He goes with one of his best friends, and he lives in Kalispell, Montana. And they get together and they hunt Montana and Idaho every year. And I was supposed to go tag along with them last year and kind of shadow them and learn. And then that got canceled. So last year they closed a lot of states for out-of-state tags.
Right.
So you couldn't purchase out-of-state tags. So, but hopefully we'll be doing it this year.
What do you think about the fact that she may beat you to the bear? And the fact that we're
awesome.
both hitting Idaho this year, but we're not going after bear.
no bear.
So how's that
We're
make
going
you
for-
feel, man?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's kind of cool, actually. But you did mention something. You teach hunter education.
Mm-hmm.
What made you get
Yeah.
into that? Like, when did you start doing that?
I started teaching in, I don't know, maybe 2015 or something. I actually applied to be an instructor in New York, and I got a letter back that said, you need to wait at least 3 years from when you take hunter ed to when you can teach it. And so I had to wait another year. But yeah, I ended up, one of my mentors, one of my duck hunting mentors was a hunter education instructor, and he wasn't super mobile and had really bad knees and everything. And he would teach his classes by himself. And I kind of asked him one day if he wanted some help, kind of coming to class and passing out things and, changing the DVDs and whatnot, and walking around with the different guns and doing the range portion. And so I kind of started helping him out just to give him a hand and keep him company. It's a lot to volunteer for. It's like a full weekend every month. And so, so that's kind of how it started. And then I just fell in love with it. So I've always enjoyed teaching, and it's something that's really important to me, that hunter education is available to everyone, and it's free. So
It seems like everything you've kind of just like indulged yourself in fully, 100%. Like, you go and take the class, you're into that, and then the videoing and everything like that. Like, you totally indulge yourself in everything that you're doing with the outdoors, especially someone that doesn't really come from the outdoor family and starting a little bit later in your career.
Yeah, it's funny when people ask me what I like to do besides hunt. I'm like, does not compute. I don't understand. So,
Nice.
yeah, my whole world revolves around hunting. It's what I do for work. It's what I do for fun. It's how I spend time with friends. It's what I do on vacation. So it's where all of my money goes. So yeah,
makes sense. So I got to ask, you got to explain, how did you and Trev run into each other? Tell me how that all went. That explains it all.
Well, I mean, I hit a skunk on the highway, and I was just like, I got to find some poor unsuspecting soul to throw this into his car. No,
I forgot about that.
I love it. I
forgot about that, actually.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, oh, geez. I was like, what is the first thing I said to you? Hey, what's up? Sorry, I hit a skunk on the way here. Yeah, we ended up, I was back home in Massachusetts for Christmas for a couple weeks, and was duck hunting, and ended up meeting your friend through Instagram. And yeah, they said, do you want to come hunt? And I said, sure. And that was kind of that. So yeah, originally we were supposed to hunt in my hometown, or one of my hometowns in South Dartmouth, right by where I used to grow up. So I was like, that's kind of cool. I grew up like right on that harbor, pretty much had a right away from our house down there. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then, yeah, ended up going to Rhode Island instead, which was even cooler because I was actually born in Rhode Island and had never hunted in Rhode Island before. So
Now, you were out with Trev, and based on my experience, you guys couldn't have had much luck.
no, it's terrible.
Courtney actually did really well. She shot him up. She definitely shot him up.
A little bit better when we switched ammo, but yeah, that was that was difficult. I hadn't been sea duck hunting in a long time. That's what I started off doing when I was living in New York. I hunted out in Long Island a lot, kind of between Long Island and Fire Island on the South Shore. So yeah, I've been spoiled hunting puddle ducks that just land in your lap for the past couple years. So
nice.
I think the best of it, honestly, was how many harlequins we saw that day. There was a lot of harlequins that day.
They were so beautiful.
That's like, for those that don't know, like harlequins are kind of one of those ducks that's like the unicorn of the duck hunting world, I think, right? In the sea duck world anyways, for us East Coasters is the harlequin, because we see them from time to time, but you can't shoot them or nothing like that. And then to see them a lot, you're like, wow, that's so majestic. They're so cool. They're so different. Because
I didn't even know that they were on the East Coast. I had no idea. We've seen like one on Long Island before, but I had no idea there were that many.
That area that we actually were hunting, there's actually a lot of them. There's a good number of them in that area, a couple different spots that we actually hunt. You see them from time to time, believe it or not. And you got to be really careful because the hen looks like a hen old squaw, and there's just one different. They have, instead of having a white dot, they have a white dot instead of a whole white top of their head between the hens and the harlequins. So it's a little tricky. You definitely have to pay attention when they come in.
I definitely appreciated you guys IDing them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that can't be an easy task. The bird's coming in, it's quick, it's fast paced, and to be able to identify them before calling the shot can't be easy. Yeah,
there was pretty much if it didn't look like a Drake Eider and it didn't look like a Scoter, I was waiting for someone to say shoot it. So
good call.
Sometimes when
as much as I would like to see one up close, I mean, I can't,
got to go to Alaska for that.
Yeah, or Washington is the other state that has them. But what other kind of waterfowl hunting did you do after that trip? Because you kind of went everywhere. I saw all kinds of different duck hunting that you were doing.
Yeah, I went to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas.
Wow.
So, yeah, Texas was pretty stellar. It was just outrageous. The birds were there, and it's just redhead central, just like absolutely unreal. Just waves and waves and waves of them. So, so that was a really good hunt. And just pretty cool to hunt in a totally different terrain. So we were hunting in like a mangrove area, and then hunted on this little blip of an island, like pretty much the size of a, truck, that was all like built up with platforms and everything, and chicken wire mesh and like palm fronds. So it was pretty wild. You take an airboat to get there.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'd never been on an airboat before. That was pretty fun.
That's a hell of a trip right there.
Yeah.
So what are their limits down there? Because I know like some's like upstate New York, you can only shoot 2. Is that the same down there?
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy that, we were just in tons and tons and tons of birds. Mm-hmm. But we didn't get limits because it was kind of a strange mixed bag. And so you can shoot 2 redheads a day, 1 pintail, I think 1 bluebill, and then anything else you wanted. And so I mean, 95% of what we saw were redheads. And so it was, within the first 5 minutes, everyone was limited out on redheads, and we're just, watching them come in and watching them land in the decoys and take off, and more land and more land. And so there were quite a lot of pintails. I think everybody got their pintail limit both days. There wasn't a ton of bluebills, and they were kind of more out on the open water. So there's all these series of marshes and mangroves all around where we were on the Gulf Coast. And so the bluebills kind of stay out in the absolute open water from what we were seeing. And so we only had a couple of groups of them come in and a couple of groups of teal. So, and we had a couple of spoonies come in. So it's definitely a mixed bag.
Did you shoot the spoonies or just let them ride?
Oh, hell yeah. Shoot the spoonies.
I know some guy, you see some of the Southern guys and they're like, no, we don't shoot those. We just pass those. We don't let those shoot. They're like coots. No, we don't shoot them.
Everyone's got their bird they don't shoot. So, I mean, for me, it's if it's an area where I know that we have a ton of different kind of birds, I mean, like from Massachusetts, like most people won't, well, a lot of people won't shoot mergansers, and like some people won't shoot bluebills, and so.
Is it really duck hunting if you're not floating a merg?
I mean, come on.
You always shoot your merganser. A bonus merg that's a duck hunt. So
yeah, it's all what you want to eat. So, but I mean, when you're shooting sea ducks, it's like, redheads taste a little bit better, the mallards taste a little bit better, but they're still eating the same stuff. So
yeah,
it was a pretty good season. Arkansas was tough. It's just, the migration has been really tough this year. The birds just haven't come down. It was like mid 60s there when I went. So it was, I mean, you were in like shorts and flip flops, and
right.
It was just tough. And so all the birds that were there were a decent amount of birds. But they had been there for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they were just not having it. Didn't want to come into calls, like just would circle and circle and circle and circle and take off. So
because they're just so educated by that point.
Yeah. I mean, God knows how long they'd been around there. So it's pretty tough. So, but still beautiful. So getting to hunt in the timber is pretty neat. Oh,
so you hunted in the timber there?
Yeah, so we did both. So I was down there with like on a media hunt with Sure Shot game calls. And so we were hunting out of a lodge there. So they do kind of half hunting in rice fields and half hunting in the timber. So we had one day of each, which was a blast. But I had gone to that same lodge maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I mean, it was lights out, like kind of limits as fast as you wanted them, and so it's tough this year. So
why don't you explain, you were talking about media hunts, kind of what that is and kind of what you do for work?
Yeah.
Kind of transition into that.
Yes. So I do a little bit of everything in the marketing world, a little bit of digital marketing, a little bit of social media marketing. I do a lot of writing, product reviews and things like that. And so this year, the 2 hunts that I went on were both part of Savage Firearms. And so I met them last year before they launched their Renegade shotgun. So it's their first semi-auto shotgun. And so they had reached out to a bunch of outdoor writers and social media folks and filmed a bunch of hunts with the gun before it was released. So I got to be a part of that. That was the hunt that we did this year in Texas. So we had a bunch of writers come and do that. And then the one that I was at in Arkansas was with Sure Shot Game Calls. And so they invited a bunch of their pro staffers. And then I had met them through Savage Firearms. And so I went down as well and kind of got a education in duck calling, and I've been calling for a little while, but all self-taught, which is painful for the eardrum sometimes. And so that's what I do a lot of, is kind of writing about different brands and doing kind of field testing with different products. So
That's awesome. So now, do you like write for like magazines, or what do you, how does that kind of work? Like your own articles, or?
yeah, so I write for a couple different publications. So I work for Outdoor Channel. That's my day job. And so I do a lot of writing for our blog. We also own 13 or 14 different magazines. And so I do writing for them as well. And then I also write for Women's Outdoor News. I do different, just a little bit of everything. I just wrote a story for Delta Waterfowl magazine. I'm working on a story for the Mule Deer Foundation. Wrote an article for Remington Ammo's new catalog, doing stuff for their email newsletter. So it's kind of a little bit of everything.
So you've kind of, go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like you have all the time in the world to go do whatever.
You see the face?
Except for when I'm working. So, I definitely have shaped a career that revolves around what I love to do and gives me the time to do it. And so the last, I don't know, probably 5 years, I've been working remotely. And so it definitely gives me the flexibility to work from anywhere. So yeah.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. So before I was working at Outdoor Channel, I was working at a apparel company called Hunt to Eat. And I was running their marketing department. And then before that, I was working for a production company up in Michigan called Be Alive, which is run by the Kiever brothers, who have a couple of shows on Outdoor Channel and Sportsman Channel and Discovery Channel, and worked production for them. So yeah, it all revolves around hunting.
There's nothing better than that.
So your roots actually go back to film and TV, and that's what got you there.
It is. So, television was definitely my first love. I feel like, I remember when I told my parents I wanted to work in television, they were like, "Oh my goodness, we're so surprised." I'm like, "Why are you surprised? I probably watched like 6 hours of TV a day as a kid." But yeah, when I was in middle school, my best friend, her mom ran our local television station in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, the community television station. And I started hanging out there when I was in middle school. And in high school, we had a really amazing, our high school was pretty phenomenal for a public school. And our TV station was actually attached to our high school. And so we had TV technology classes in high school. And so I learned how to use Final Cut Pro when I was in high school, and, different cameras, different microphones. We did, we had live morning news every day, and we had, all sorts of crazy equipment. So I pretty much dove into that. I filmed all of our football games, all of our town hall meetings, stuff for the Historical Society, for Dartmouth and New Bedford, Massachusetts, for the Whaling Museum, and everything like that. And so that's what I ended up going to college for. I went to college in Brooklyn, New York, a place called Pratt Institute, and got a BFA in film and television. So, yeah.
And kind of just took it right into the outdoor industry right after that.
Yeah, it was totally a fluke. So, I mean, I think I probably applied to 20 different TV networks, and Sportsman Channel was the one that gave me the most interesting offer. It was a very, very tiny network at the time. It was based in Wisconsin, but they had a satellite office in New York City. And so yeah, my new boss said, you're going to work your butt off. You're going to wear a bunch of different hats, but you're going to get to do a little bit of everything. And yeah, 2 weeks after I took the job, I was down in Texas, producing a shoot with like 15 of our show hosts, and yeah, knew nothing about hunting. That was pretty hilarious. I'm emailing all these people and I'm like, okay, how are you guys all going to get your guns there? I'm like, shit. Okay. I called up FedEx and I was like, do you ship guns? Had no idea. One of our show hosts was so sweet. She was like, well, we just take them on the plane with us. I'm like, okay. I didn't know this. And then apparently I didn't tell anyone that I actually needed them to bring ammo. So nobody brought ammo with them. And yeah, one of the show hosts shot a very particular caliber that like you couldn't find anywhere. I had to drive like 2 hours to Cabela's to go find ammo. And then one of our duck hunters didn't bring any ammo and just had turkey loads. And so
that'll do it.
We were doing some really cool slow motion footage. And so we went to Home Depot. We bought like all of these ornamental grasses. We had a rain machine and did some ultra slow mo footage. And we're like, okay, well, we just need you to pull up and shoot like, 3 rounds, just, as fast as you can, with like 3.5-inch Magnum loads. And I didn't understand at the time why he hated me so much. Now I do.
His shoulder was located in his back.
Yeah. So, so it's been kind of funny. And I remember, Pigman Brian Quaka was, he lived not too far away. And I had called him and said, I'm kind of nervous, like what's going to happen if people's stuff doesn't come and this and that. And I said, could you just, bring a little bit of everything? And he's like, what? He's like, what do you want me to bring? And I said, I don't know, just bring like one of everything. He's like, you don't tell that to a Texan. He's like, my truck will be dragging on the ground.
Exactly.
Like, one of everything.
Okay. Especially him.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, all right, city girl, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a pretty fun road.
What has kind of been like the craziest moment that you've had with some of the people?
Probably the most interesting day at work I've ever had was when Pigman he did his Apocalypse series with Ted Nugent. And so we went down and we filmed some of that, which was crazy. So I got to go up in the helicopter with them and do some filming. And yeah, totally wild.
I could only imagine.
That's a pretty good day at work.
Yeah, I was like, this is a very weird day at work, but just a blast. So we recreated some of the scenes from Apocalypse Now, which was hilarious.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, hats off to you guys on that one. That was a good one. It was a winner.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot of kicks out of watching that one.
It was pretty cool. I mean, and it definitely spun off. So the guys that we went with, the guys who own Heli Hunter, they actually ended up getting their own TV show after that. And then of course, after it got legalized to be able to sell, trips, not even sell them, but to have anybody, go up and
right.
do those hunts. It kind of exploded from there. So, but that was really cool to be a part of that, it kind of toes the line of, we can call it hunting, but, to non-hunters, we don't call it hunting because it's not hunting, it's eradication, so it's, if you've got a rat problem, you call an exterminator. You got a cockroach problem, you call an exterminator. If you have a feral hog problem, you call an exterminator. And so, up until the point where you were able to sell those hunts, all those guys still existed, just as exterminators. And so farmers would call them, and say, I've got a hog problem, and they would come and take care of it, as a service, as an extermination service. So it's been really interesting to watch that over the years, hog hunting, in general, and then, especially the helicopter stuff. But,
I'm in the wrong business.
You've kind of seen like the whole entire outdoor industry kind of mold into what it is today. Like you've kind of been in the ups and downs of it.
Yeah. So when I started working at Sportsman Channel in 2011, they were still, had been around for, I think, like 6 or 7 years already, and really just watched it grow and explode. And so I think in, 2014 or 2015, Stan Kroenke here in Denver purchased Outdoor Channel, which was our biggest competitor. And then about a year later, he purchased Sportsman Channel. And so we went from being rival networks to being sister networks. So he moved both networks to Denver. And it's funny, still a lot of people don't know this. So Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, and World Fishing Network, we're all owned by the same company. And so we're all run by the same team.
Nice.
So, yeah. So the digital marketing department that I work in, we handle all 3 networks. And then when Stan Kroenke acquired Sportsman Channel, we also our parent company at the time was Intermediate Outdoors, which owned like 13 or so magazines, including Guns and Ammo, Rifle Shooter, Wildfowl Magazine, Gun Dog, Peterson's Hunting, Bow Hunter, Predator Nation. Yeah, just Fly Fisherman Magazine, Game and Fish, and Fisherman. So we're all one big family. So we're called Outdoor Sportsman Group. And so we have the 3 networks, all the magazines, and yeah.
That's enough to keep you busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
poor
saying.
girl.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool that we're really, we are the powerhouse of the industry. There's a couple other smaller TV networks out there and a couple of streaming platforms, but most of what you're going to catch on them is repeats of, stuff that have been on our networks. So it's really cool. So we get to work with, the best talent in the industry, the best brands, and it's pretty cool. We get to stay on the edge of all the new product releases and everything like that. And so it's fun. It's such a bummer this year that SHOT Show is canceled, because I look forward to that every year, going and seeing all the fun new toys that are coming out. And so, but we did a digital showcase, which was still pretty cool, and stuff from the ATA show too.
Nice.
Yeah, it sucked not going to ATA this year. That was definitely one of. I've never been to SHOT Show, but ATA is definitely one of the fun ones. I enjoy being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a big family reunion every year, and you get to see all the folks that you email with all year, and get to catch up and see what everybody's been working on. And you get to a point where you think, like, what else could possibly be invented, and then
there it is.
Something cool that we need.
7,000. There it is.
Why we're all broke.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. That's why the addiction is so bad, because people that are innovative in our industry.
Exactly.
So, the one and last question that I have for you is, and I ask everybody this, is what drives you outdoors?
What drives me outdoors?
Other than your car, we get that.
For me, it just gives me, it sounds cheesy, but like, it gives me a reason to get up in the morning. I am not a morning person. And it's, in a nutshell, I say that hunting is the way that I choose to spend time with friends. And so, I'm always chasing a new species. Like, I enjoy, I've got some trophies on the wall, but for me, hunting is how I choose to spend time with friends. And so, some people are a little shy about calling hunting a hobby. it obviously is much more than a hobby. But it is, the sport that we choose. I don't play tennis. I don't play golf. Luckily, I don't have a fishing addiction. But it's how I spend time with friends. And so, we go camping and we go out and we go hunting and, cooking and just watching the sunrises and watching the stars. Like, I don't think I'd ever see a sunrise if I didn't hunt. And it's just so relaxing. It's just so good for you. And it's, especially I lived in New York City for 9 years. And when I started hunting, that's where I was living. And it just absolutely turned my whole world on its head. The bars close at 4 a.m. in New York City. And I was waking up and I was leaving my house at 3 a.m., driving out to Long Island, out to, sometimes out to Montauk, hopping on a boat and catching the sunrise somewhere, in the middle of the bay. And it's a life that humans used to live. And it's interesting that it takes so much time and effort and sometimes money and a lot of dedication to experience something that, we should have been experiencing all along. So for me, I know, I'm always more calm. I'm always more happy when I'm out in the woods and, when I'm on the water. And, if you don't see anything, if you don't hear anything, if you don't shoot anything, it doesn't matter. It's a win. It's never a wasted day.
That
Well
was probably
said.
the best. Yeah, I was gonna say that hands down. We've gotten a lot of answers, and I say this a lot, but that's probably the best answer to that question that we have had thus far.
Yeah.
I will not take that away from you. You definitely take that award. We might
Yeah,
have to make a certificate because
Yeah.
that was
Slide up to number 1.
So, Courtney, why don't you just share it with everybody? I mean, if you want to, where they can find you, follow along with kind of what you have going on and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, you can find me on Instagram. I'm Courtney with Freckles. If I ever thought I'd use Instagram for more than a week, I would have put more than 10 minutes into coming up with a name. But yeah, catch me on there. I love chatting with people. I love when people, ask me for advice or ask me, how do I get into the outdoor industry? How do I find a job in the outdoor industry? If you want to learn how to get a TV show, I will tell you, spoiler alert, it is a ton of work and a ton of time.
And money.
And money. But if you're super passionate about it, we need more of that in the industry. And so, especially women, any women out there, send me a message. I always love to chat.
Outstanding. Awesome. Well, Courtney, we can't thank you enough for your time. It's been a good conversation, and I feel like we could go down this hole for a long time. So I think we'll do you a favor and call it quits here for now. But I got a feeling there will be some conversations in the future. So
heck yeah.
Go make some more stories and have more for us.
Always.
Not that you have enough of that to do anyway.
Actually, I got to clean some pheasants that are sitting outside. So.
Oh, well, excuse me. I'm sorry. Don't let me hold you back from that. All right. Well, everyone follow along, check it out. And, we can't thank you guys enough for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.